happening, y'all? Oh, me and Briana White here have been having a good conversation. Yes, I know all about psychopaths and stuff. This woman is very well informed. And make sure you go watch her. Just her quirky, what do you call it?
What do you call it?
Inquisitiveness.
Curiosities.
Yes, her curiosities. But we have a question here from a guy that has some acting questions, okay? And he said, "What's up, Tyrone?" And by the way, so she's an actress and model.
If you don't know.
And hand model and gamer. Go follow her on SNR Gaming. SR Gaming. I really said that by accident that time.
It's okay.
SR Gaming. And because I don't know much about acting, and the business of it, I definitely wanted her to help me out with this. But I'll answer this the best that I can. And she was just telling me about stuff, so she's gonna be a help here. All right, so it says, "What's up, Tyrone? Just like you, I'm an aspiring actor. I'm not American." I didn't see that part. "I want to know if you went to school for acting, or if you took classes, workshops. I chose to go to school, but if you haven't, let me know how the path you've chosen has been so far." There's a lot of questions here. You want to kind of chop it as we go? What do you think?
I think it's an all-encompassing topic, so I think we should probably ask the whole question.
Okay.
And we'll go over it.
I've been doing student films and getting better at my craft, but I'm sometimes asking myself about how much longer I should be in school because, as you know, university's not cheap at all. No, it's not. I'm weighing my options, start to work or keep training a bit longer. You don't have to make a video about this. I just need an answer from a fellow actor, and I've been watching your videos for some time. And you're older than me with more life experience, so I figured. Thank you."
All right, so why don't you talk about what your path was?
Okay, well, also, what he says a little earlier, he wants to know if I took classes. Literally, I took about 6, 7, 8 classes. That's about it. This isn't centered. Let me fix this real quick. I must have twisted it when I was talking to you earlier. Okay. I went in for modeling to my agency, and they told me I needed to know how to act. You'll make us more money, and you'll make yourself more money, and they like models to be able to act so they can say certain lines in the commercials and stuff like that. I was like, okay. So I started doing the classes, and a few weeks in, I was asked to do my monologue, and my agent loved it. And apparently she had this talk with me. Apparently I was more fit for acting than I was for the modeling. She just saw stars, as far as me acting. And she asked me to represent them at IMTA, which was that big contest. And she told me she thought I could win. And it was like, after 6 weeks of one class, okay. So I went and I won, and I was very, very, very surprised to win, but maybe I just had a natural talent for acting, as far as my path goes, after you go to IMTA, have you ever been in any contests like that? Ashton Kutcher was there, Katie Holmes was there, Jessica Biel was there. There was a lot of different actors and actresses that have been there and competed. Agents want to see you after that, and they are there to judge and to pick you. So I had 17 callbacks, so I had to talk with 17 agents the next day. And then you talk about meeting with them again and signing if you want to be with them. So I did that whole thing, signed with one called MMG in New York, non-exclusive. There was something I was supposed to do. I know I dropped the ball on something, but also at the same time I was part of this website called Reality Wanted. Now on there's tons of castings that are sent to me. I can just choose to, put my hat in the ring, and if they call me, they call me. And it got me a few parts on Discovery Channel and a few other things, but my money was depleted. the traveling, the contest, just everything. My credit cards were maxed out, but I had been doing YouTube just a little bit, and I'd heard about people being discovered from YouTube. So that's basically where we are. I stopped acting, I stopped going on auditions and all that stuff, and I wanted to build a name for myself through my channel, which I've done. Now I'm at a point where a few people have noticed me. You know, see, there's the NBC thing, you know, and bigger actors and all that stuff, and people are noticing me, and now I'm starting to get offers, and that's why I'm out here in LA looking for a place so I can move out here and really do some work. But she's been working a lot longer than me, so she knows stuff like that I don't know. Like, I'm a baby to this. I'm bigger on YouTube than she is, but she's doing better than I am as far as acting. Yeah. Well, no. I was trying to show the contrast.
Right.
Like,
yes.
yeah, she's a hand model, she's a model, and she's an actress. She's done way more shit than I've done. If you ask, she's got an agent, she's got a team. She's doing way better than me out here. I might be having the YouTube thing, but you know, so in a way, we help each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what I meant. I wasn't like doing an ego.
No, you're not like that.
So that's that one part. If you want to chime in.
So the first thing I noticed is that you're not American. What I'd like to know is, do you live and work in America, or is this a completely different country? Because I can't speak to other countries. I can only speak to you know, what my experience has been here in America. So I have been acting since I was 7 years old. I was in every school play. I was, you know, all the way through high school, and I just loved it. I have a burning passion for it. I was lucky enough to get into a really good acting school. I got into NYU, and I had exactly the same questions and struggle that you are having right now. NYU at the time was $60,000 a year.
Fuck.
And you have to, I mean, you look at people who are absolutely gorgeous and who have all these talents, and well, they got discovered, and you know, they didn't go to school for it. They didn't pay $60,000 a year times 4, and they don't have a degree in acting, but they seem to be doing just fine. So why should I have to pay, right? I'm here to tell you that you have to let go of what everybody else is doing, and you have to follow your instincts, because everybody's path is going to be different. And when I went to NYU, probably the best advice I got was that some people do casting director workshops, some people start with modeling, some people go to school, some people know people, some people are rich, some people do YouTube. Everybody's path is going to be different. So you have to find out what works for you, what makes you happy, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. That being said, going to school for acting was the best thing I ever did. Hands down. I really didn't want to do it. I didn't think I had to. I thought, you know, I'm talented, I'm pretty enough, I'll make it work.
Word.
But when I went to school, I got feedback, and that is the most valuable thing you can get. You get to make all your mistakes and do all the wrong things, and you have a safe environment to do that. Not only that, you meet people. I met my mentor there, and he took me under his wing and gave me all the best advice, and you know, he had a wealth of experience, and I never would have met him if I wouldn't have gone to school, even though he was a film teacher and I was an acting student. So we never should have met, but we did, you know? And he's how I got my agent, and how I got my agent was how I got my manager, and that's just sort of the path that I took. And none of it would have happened if I didn't go to NYU and know what to look for. Because if there's anything you know, studying your craft is important, but knowing how to navigate the business of it is more important, in my opinion. Because the craft is more fun to study, and that will come naturally, and you should definitely do that if you're not. But I
find that interesting that you said that about us. I almost knew where you were going because we kind of talked about that before with the path in the other video, but it rings true for this. Like, I remember hearing Mr. T's story and how he was like a bodyguard, but you know, when Sylvester Stallone discovered him, he didn't want him to take any classes because his raw personality was the persona he was trying to bring onto the screen. And I think that's maybe where certain things work. Like, you know, some people should be schooled, but maybe certain people, and I'm not saying I don't need much of it, I'm saying I probably do need to take some classes, but it's funny that I'm being contacted to do stuff when it's kind of like, well, I haven't been taught much, but for some people, people love the persona that they
Yeah.
see. I think that's what they want on the screen. You know what I mean? So, both of our paths are different. We could both end up
Exactly.
A-list actors, but we both totally took two different paths. You know?
I guess the other thing I would say that is, if you can imagine yourself doing anything else, do that. Save yourself a world of trouble. If you can see yourself doing anything else but acting, do that, because acting takes a lot of sacrifice, a lot of time and effort and sacrifice, and it is one of the hardest, most deeply impacted industries in the world, and you have to be at the top of your game. If you can't see yourself doing anything else, this is your passion, this is your life's calling, this is the only thing you can do, be your own boss, do yourself all the favors. Get educated, and it's good. You're reaching out, you're asking advice to people. Continue that. Get all the books, all the good ones. you can message me on Facebook or Instagram or whatever and ask me for some good acting book recommendations, because you need to self-educate yourself about things like this.
Okay.
Because you have to be your own boss, because until you have a manager, until you have an agent, and even when you do, they don't have time to, and they don't care to make you progress as a human being in your career. So you need to be in charge of it yourself. You really need to be very self-motivated and spend all your time behind the scenes. Whenever you're not working, you need to be also working on your acting and meeting people and things like that.
Yeah, and if you're passionate, you will.
Yeah.
That's one thing. There's a quote out there. There's a soundbite of Steve Jobs talking, and he's talking about how you have to be passionate about whatever you do, because if you're not, then you're insane for continuing to do something that you hate or don't love. But when you love something you're passionate about, it's not work anymore. It's just your life.
Yeah.
And she talked about her burning passion for it, and I thought that was interesting, because I remember when I was hearing about goal setting and achieving goals. So if you don't have a burning desire for it, you ain't gonna get it done.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a big goal. Little goals, something that almost anybody can do, but big goals like that require a burning passion. Like YouTube for me is passionate. I have fun doing it, and that's why it's easy to excel in it when you love what you do. So if you start to hate something,
it's true.
Fall from it. That's why I think certain actors and entertainers disappear. Maybe they learn to hate the business or whatever it is that they run into.
Absolutely.
Something bothers them, and they leave.
And there's a lot to hate about this industry.
I've heard.
There's a lot to hate about it.
I haven't ran into it yet, but I keep hearing about it. But I'm like waiting one day. I feel like I'm in a minefield. I'm like, welcome to mines yet, and everybody else is getting blown up. Like, I'm telling you, it's coming, man.
Exactly what it is.
Like
We're like the war veteran on the street being like, don't do it.
Yep.
We're warning you.
And I'm totally unscathed, but I'm like, it's gonna come sooner or later.
It always does. It always does. Actually, I can tell one of my big things for acting. This is something that every actor comes across in their life, and everybody gets warned about it, and it sucks every time. Last year I got cast in a movie with Andy Samberg. I was so excited about it. I got to do a very small part, but I got it offered, and I didn't even have to really audition for it. It was sweet. I was so excited about it. It came out last week. I went to go see it. My part had been cut.
Oh, that happened to me. I was an extra though. And yes, I remember I was in a lot of the scenes, and I'm like, they cut all of them?
Yeah.
That fucking hurts.
Sucks so bad. I'm still burning from it a little bit. I was so excited. I told everybody I know to go see the movie because I was in it, and then I wasn't in it.
God, I thought you were gonna give me like a casting couch story.
No.
Have you ran into that yet? It's like, so now that you're cast, what are you gonna do for us?
I would say no, but that's because I am very, very wary about red flags. I am very wary, and that is another thing I learned at school, is how to see the red flags.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and you have to know your boundaries, because a lot of people are really desperate, and I've heard plenty of stories from friends who just really wanted the role and would do whatever it took, and they passed their boundaries and they regretted it. So that's another thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, be true to yourself. I remember I had a modeling teacher when I went to this one place. This is when I was a kid, and he was like, whose hair went on to sleep to the top? And like one guy raised his hand. He was like, look, and then it basically was a lesson. He was like, look, you do that if you want to, but you do not have to do the stuff to be, to get parts, because it's, I had an experience when I was in this modeling competition. This happened like 2 or 3 years ago, and I remember I came in really good shape, but we all had to change in one room. Have you ever been in that?
Yeah.
Yes. Men and women changing in the same room. So, and they're straight and gay and everything. And I remember this gay dude was looking at me like, I was like, okay, don't go that way, buddy. I think you know that. You met me already. But then after the competition, I didn't win. I was really pissed and I couldn't understand why. Some dude looked like Count Chocula won. I mean, he had big ass cape and glitter and shit. You had to see him. You had to see him. As a matter of fact, it was the same guy that was checking me out. He won. And he won a bit part in a new movie that was coming out. Anyway, I asked one of the judges.
Okay.
He was gay.
Uh-huh.
And I said to him, listen, what could I have done to win? Like, what did I do wrong? Or, just trying to get that feedback.
Never do that, by the way, in a professional setting. Just notes for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because all the models were asking all the judges.
Bad
they
idea.
literally were all walking. After the competition, we were all asking them. And, he said to me, well, because the first outfit I wore, I think was a suit. Mm-hmm. And then I wore a evening type of going to the club, like it was a open sweater and anything. So anyway, he says to me, well, if I were you, what I would have done was wore the casual wear that you wore for your evening wear first, and then your suit later for the evening wear. But to tell you the truth, I saw you change, and in between, I would have just wore them shorts you was wearing. You just came out like that because you looked so good. I would have paid for it. And I was like,
That's one of the reasons you don't ask for feedback.
I was like, thank you. How do you stay politically correct? And I was like, okay, so. Yeah, and then, I remember seeing, you remember hearing about Greg Plitt? Mm-mm. He said he was the top, literally #1 fitness model. And he died. He was doing a video on train tracks, trying to outrun a train, and he stumbled. The train.
What the hell was he doing?
He was very extreme, skydiver, bungee jump, all that stuff. Extremely intelligent. I followed him a lot, watched his videos. Like, I connected with him a lot on a lot of levels, but, and everybody was calling him a dumbass and stupid and all this shit. And, I don't believe it was intelligent for him to do that, take that type of risk. Yeah. But I know he wasn't a stupid guy. But the point is, he was telling the story. He said it was called Gay for Pay, I think. Would you be gay for pay? And he said, I've never been gay for pay. He said, but I'll tell you the experience I had. I got a part on, shoot for a cover, and the guy said, all right, you got the part, now what are you going to do for me? He said, you're going to get 110%. He was like, no, what are you going to do for me? And he said, I refused. And I lost that part because of that. But you see that in spite of it, he still became the #1 fitness model. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that you have to do these things sexually and degrade yourself, to get these parts. I've heard otherwise. I've heard contrary. You do eventually at some point got to do something. I don't know. I haven't reached that level. I'll let you guys know. You know what I mean?
And that's you. A lot of people think of acting as a short-term game, and acting and modeling in all careers, they're a long-term game. So you really have to be in it to win it, because if you're hiking up a mountain and you do stumble or you fall right back down to the bottom of the mountain, if your overall trajectory is still up, you'll get there. It'll take time. I mean, how many countless stories do you hear about Tina Fey, who was working in a bagel shop at 23, or John Hamm, who almost quit acting and then the next week or so booked Mad Men. I mean, you keep hearing those stories. You just got to focus on that upward trajectory and not let the small stuff or, I didn't book this role. Well, maybe that's because you were paving your way for yourself to book the next big thing.
That's big too. Sometimes you think that you're supposed to be this or that character, but it's not really what's meant for you. It's meant something else. You know, there's like a picture out there of a guy digging for gold. He stops just shy of where the gold is. You've seen it yet? Yeah, like all the gold is right here. And he's got one of those pickaxes. And
but all he can see is how far he's come. And he's like, I'll never find it.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily.
You never know unless you keep going. Look, what's his name? Samuel L. Jackson didn't get big until he got older.
And that's, exactly. Because a lot of the times you don't come into your proper type until later.
Yeah.
Like for right now, I keep getting, well, you seem too old for your age. And I'm like, why? Because I can string a sentence together, you know? And so it's possible I might just come into my prime when I'm a little bit older. And that's cool too, because I'm still working on that upward trajectory. You have to sometimes let your career be what it is, not what you want it to be sometimes, you know?
Yeah. It's like that, man. I can remember, because are you into law of attraction?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so she knows about the whole positive thought. Yeah. It's more a lot of times about the feeling than anything. Mm-hmm. You know, as she was saying earlier, as long as it makes you, are you happy? You gotta be happy. If you have a really good feeling about something, to give an example, there was a point where I first learned to really think positively, and I literally doubled what I was making at my job because I was in sales. So, when you're in commission sales, it's what you put forth. Exactly. So I literally doubled what I was making when I changed how I thought. Then I wanted to be manager, and I interviewed for it, and I knew I had it in the bag. Didn't get the job. I was pissed. I was like, what the fuck? My thinking was correct. I'm making double. I'm outperforming people. How in the hell do they not promote me to manager? Someone else got the job. And a few months later, he was like, you would lose your fucking mind doing this job. My girlfriend at the time was working with me. I helped kind of train her, teach her a lot of these principles. And she was asked to be manager, to interview. And I remember being pissed at that. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm the one that taught her. But she, she was doing her thing. She was like number one in hers too. And after she interviewed, she was like, babe, I'm getting a bad feeling about taking this position. I don't think I want to do this. And I was like, that's when I started to think maybe I wasn't meant to be manager. Yeah. I was feeling good about success, but just because you don't get a part doesn't mean that was the part for you. Like, people get hung up on that with relationships.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh no, they're definitely the one for me. I know. Not always.
Sometimes they were just the right lesson, or the right one for right then.
Yeah, right one at that time. Because, there's that old phrase, someday you'll run into the person that'll make you realize why everyone else didn't work. It's true. So.
And on that note, I would also like to say, have the freedom to change your career if that happens. A lot of times, you can be really successful as an actor, and a lot of people decide, I don't want to be an actor anymore. I want to be a writer. I want to be a director. I want to be a producer. I want to go into business. A lot of times, people, the statistics is that like 90% of people change their careers like at least 5 times in their life.
Yep.
And that's the same is true with acting. Even if that's your burning passion right now, allow yourself the freedom to let that change if that happens.
Yep.
Because that's fine too, and it's common, and it'll work.
That made me think of Jessica Alba. I saw on TV. That's a fucking business that does $1 billion. She's worth $1 billion, right? It's worth $1 billion. I said, when the hell was she doing this? But then we haven't seen her or nothing in a while, right? Exactly. She's probably been working it. She's found another passion, been cultivating it behind the scenes, and we didn't even know. Exactly. You see that? And I'm like, wow, I never thought she propelled to that level. Like, come on now, she's a billionaire now? What?
Yeah.
So,
and look at Jodie Foster, who is famous as an actress. Now she's doing directing. Elizabeth Banks is directing and producing. I mean, it's more common than you think. That's why I'm on YouTube too. It's because I can be an actress, a model, a hand model, and I still need more. I still need more to fill my time. Yeah. I'm also a YouTube person.
Yeah, it's good to have those multiple streams of income because you're protected.
Yes.
You know, I was thinking when you're talking about actresses, stepping up, like with Mel Gibson. I never thought the Lethal Weapon guy was going to be directing stuff later on. You know what I mean? Like Braveheart and The Patriot. And
Exactly.
What? Yeah, but that's. So I hope we've given you enough. We should have given you enough.
It's been a long talk, and there's still more to talk about, which is, again, why I would say stay in school, because you'll have 4 years or more to get all these different pieces of advice from all these different places. Okay. We didn't get to where we are, it took time.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Took time. And it's very satisfying, I must say, when something you cultivate for years finally pays off. It's trust me, it's very gratifying. And who knows, maybe you want to move here. Or maybe you want to become big out there where you are,
it depends where you are, but I know that LA is a big place, New York is a big place, and I know that England and Australia are on their way up. That's what I know.
Okay.
So
cool.
if you're close to any of those places, those would be my advice, the big four: LA, New York, England, and Australia. I don't know where in England and Australia, but I know that a lot of English and Australian actors have really good training there in those countries, wherever they study, and then they come here and they book work all the time. So.
Hugh Jackman is Australian, isn't he? Wolverine? I think he is. Yeah. All right, yeah, it's funny because we get a lot of UK actors here. You don't know they're UK until you hear them in the interview. Not in the movie because they're faking the accent. They're like, what?
I mean, look at Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, he's in everything. Everything. Amelia Clarke, literally everyone on Game of Thrones. I mean,
New Superman, Henry Cavill, he's British. It's like the new Spider-Man, he's British. Tom Holland, like they're all.
That's right.
Yeah, it's like, wow. They do have good schools over there.
They do. Yeah. They do.
All right, y'all, that's it for now.
Yeah.
Make sure you go follow her on SR Gaming. I got it right.
You got it right. Proud of you.
That's right. 1 million subscribers.
Woo!
You may now subscribe.